We have to take you back to the Volta region because authorities at the whole teaching hospital are asking for relevant logistics in the fight against coronavirus. Now, the hospital's Director of Administration, George Tete, believes this will enhance healthcare delivery as well as ensure the safety of health workers during the pandemic. He made the appeal when GH Samdik Service Center of Century Yangche Mall presented medical equipment worth some 10,000 Ghana cedis to the health facility.
GH Samdik Service Center of CHY Mall presented 5 wheelchairs, 2 pulse oximeters, 2 stabilizers, an oxygen cylinder, 2 infrared thermometers, 5 mattresses, among others, to the whole teaching hospital. The presentation forms part of the institution's charity project.
We decided to donate these few items to the whole teaching hospital because they are one of the key stakeholders in the health sector when it comes to Volta region. And as part of our corporate social responsibilities, we are giving this out today to help them fight the pandemic that is here with the whole world. And we hope it is put to good use and it helps them what they do best.
The Director of Administration of the whole teaching hospital, George Tete, who received the items on behalf of the facility, implored other corporate and philanthropic organizations to emulate the gesture.
On behalf of the CEO of the hospital, and then other management of the hospital and staff of the hospital, I want to say a very big thank you to your company, which is CHY, for coming to our aid at this crucial time of our quest to provide quality healthcare. We all know the pandemic that we are facing globally. So I can say that your donation is very, very timely. As you mentioned, a lot of this equipment, either to, if you are not come to our aid, we're going to use our own resources or government resources to buy these things. We want to take that opportunity or this opportunity to also appeal to other individuals or companies to also emulate exactly or beyond what CHY has even done. We are most grateful.
Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews. Who?
And today is your birthday. Antoinette Sanaki Yeredong, you're with the SDA school, Bolga, and it's from your husband, who also happens to be my classmate, so that's a good one. Francis Yeredong, you work with the Wale Wale branch of ADB. Good morning to you, Francis. Great time to always hear from you. And this one is coming from all the children that you have. We're talking about Festus and Ferdinand. And then also your brother, Fred, because your twins also has twins. They had their birthday yesterday as well, and I wish them all the best. That's Fidelia and Felicity Yeredong of the St. Theresa Catholic School right here in Accra, Swan Lake. You know how we do it right here in the studio. And Gifty and Apia, I'm told, has a great relationship with Okai. No, I said your mouth was twitching. You thought I was being mischievous. I say, only Okai, you guys are, what are you done for? You guys are friends. Please unmute, Gifty.
It's like one of my spiritual fathers is, I mean, I've been with the choir, Harbour City Mass Choir, which he co-founded several years back. So, yeah, we go way back.
Gifty, there are so many things I don't know about you. I think I need to get closer to you. What do you think?
Well, we can talk about that.
Oh. To know more about you, so we have to talk about it. You are too difficult to. Charlie, relax yourself. Eh? Oh. Which newspapers are you doing? Please breathe in and breathe out. Which newspapers are you doing?
Okay, I've got 2 newspapers only. I've got the BNFD and then I've got the Daily Dispatch newspaper. I can start with the BNFD, which has a very beautiful picture of our communications minister, Esla Oswekufo. Okay, yeah. So, banner headline, border closures drop international trade revenue by 42%. Story is on page 3 of that newspaper. And the picture that I told you about, the story by that picture is positive COVID-19 persons to wear tracking device. Okay, I don't know what that story is about. Maybe since you have the paper there, Roland, you can give us the first paragraph, but seriously. Anyway.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, do you want to read that for me now, or do you want me to finish with the BNFT at least?
Please go ahead, finish, and then we can take a look at it.
Fine. So then we have PIAC wants as a public wait. I need to figure it out. Sorry, I just woke up. I've forgotten. PIAC wants petroleum. PIAC wants petroleum funds invested in diversified instruments. That's also a story on the front page of the BNFD. And yes, they have some, the performance on the market for you as well. If you're a business watcher, you want to take a look at that one. And they have some stories there. GOIL records 105.5 million Ghana cedi profit after tax. My money is inside some. And then we've got Aviation Minister offers safety and job security assurance to airport staff. And yeah, this is the front page of the BNFT. Take you through the inside pages. Maslock makes impressive loan recovery in Ashanti region as 50 poultry farmers benefit from credit facilities. I think that's a great story to tell if they're making impressive recovery in Ashanti region, because one of the biggest problems of Maslock has been that the thing is you don't even know where people live. So most of the loans were becoming bad debt, essentially. So yeah, if that sounds like a promising story, you can take your time and read through it. And businesses should take advantage of AFCFTA. That story is also right there on the page 2 of the BNFT. Page 3 has a story about the border closure and the fact that it has dropped our international trade revenue by 42%. That story is there as well. And then the PIAC story, then you have producer price inflation rate falls to 9.3% in July. That sounds like a good thing as well. Okay, and this is the back page of the BNFT. President cuts sword for $25 million GNPC operational head office in Takoradi. Okay, they're looking to make more money, of course. And MTN to transition into a digital services operator. That comes with a picture of the recent annual general meeting held. That's it for the BNFT. Roland, shall I go on with the Daily Dispatch?
Yes, you can. You can, Gifty.
Okay. So the Daily Dispatch newspaper has a banner headline: NPP reacts to Mahama's challenge to Akufo-Addo. And comes with a picture of President Akufo-Addo and former President John Mahama. Very interesting story there. Then Barack Obama takes on Trump. Story is on page 11 of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. More stories here on the front page. Obed Asamoah on PNDC era to Fourth Republic. See page 3. Roland, you know that they've been, the Daily Dispatch, Uncle Ben, good morning to him, has been serializing, this story, about Ghana's history as far as, the PNDC. So some analysis there today. The focus is on Obed Asamoah and the PNDC era on the Fourth Republic. That story is on page 3. And as per EC's data, Greater Accra has 445,815 voters more than 2016. The 2016 figure. That story is also on the back page, and it's also part of the analysis that Daily Dispatch has been running, serialized analysis that Daily Dispatch has been running on the voters registration exercise. Inside pages, you have the story about how ex-President Barack Obama apparently tore apart President Donald Trump. If you're interested in US politics, that story is right there on page 11 of the Daily Dispatch. Then 2020 polls and infrastructure record. NPP react to Mahama's challenge to beat Akufo-Addo. Comes with a picture of Mr. Sami Ewuku, the national organizer of the NPP, I beg your pardon. And then a picture of former President John Mahama. So apparently Mr. Ewuku has been responding to Mr. Mahama's request for a debate, a one-on-one debate with President Akufo-Addo. That story is right there. And yeah. All right. Back page of the Daily Dispatch, which is how I wrap up from my side. Comes lots of pictures, lots of beautiful, beautiful colors Comparative analysis of 2020 and 2016 registers continues on the back page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Yeah, Roland, this is it for me.
Right. So let me do the Daily Graphic. Has on the front page a 3-tier pension scheme. Security agencies exempted. That announcement was made by the Minister for Information at the briefing on Thursday. And it says Cabinet has given the approval. Now 20 contest CPP flag bearer national positions. Quite an interesting story. 20 people want to contest for that position for the CPP. COVID-19 Trust Fund also support Infectious Disease Center. That's a good thing. And down there we do have the editor of the Daily Graphic going on a short leave. It's been announced on the front page. Editor on leave. Also there.
Oh. Are you sure, Roland?
It's there, editor on leave. And then we have Education Minister inaugurates school reopening committee. I don't know why when our editors go on leave here, we don't, you should announce it.
No, I'm sure there's a reason. I mean, I'm sure there's something. I mean, I don't think that.
Are you saying that it's? I think it's not the first time that the Daily Graphic has done it. To be.
Oh, they publish
usually they
schedule.
will. Yes, usually they will.
Oh
yes.
Wow, that's good education. I honestly didn't know.
Yes, and I think this tradition by the Daily Graphic is good. I think all media houses should emulate this.
Why do you think that's necessary?
It's not up for discussion. Gifting. Now we have the back page of the Daily Graphic. Has roads in Volta region received facelift? Yeah, and some of these roads typically, it says the sections are 45 kilometers Ikuma Have Road, 53 kilometer Have Hohwe Sokode Bame Road, and the whole Juje Danu Road. That's a good one there. Yeah. We have to thank the president for this good initiative.
Well, the people, the taxes that we pay, that's what they're for.
Gifty, you took the bait. I didn't want you to come. You took the bait. So we have the Herald. The Herald has on the front page, Health Ministry paying 32 million euros for 100-bed hospital after private sector paid 7.5 million Ghana cedis for 105-bed infectious disease center. Hey, the Herald. This table you are shaking. Borrowing the phrases from my lead producer Derek Ekosam. This table you are shaking. NLA to earn 30 million Ghana cedis from KGL partnership. That's also there. And we have the Rose Ministry collecting kickbacks from contractors. Inusa Fuseni laments. I didn't know that.
Oh, but that's not news, Roland. I mean,
Gifty, relax. Yeah, why are you behaving like you work with CDD and GI this morning? Relax. Akufo-Addo won't debate Mahama. Samia Uku and Pius Hajida shout back. It no go happen. It no go happen. So we do have a chronicle. It's not usual of us highlighting the front page of the chronicle because we don't usually get it in the studio. But today we have it. So we have chronicle. Alote goes bananas. Hypocrites, sycophants leading NDC to the slaughter on the front page of the chronicle. And there, we also have, I will be ruthless with corrupt appointees, Mahama says. Modern fishing harbor for Elmina, a pull of Edna. And up there we have police GIS and others excluded from unification of pensions. This one, government was fast because the security agency, those that were not going to be included, Charlie will vote against you. So this one, Akufo-Addo, make fast. Make fast. It's true. Oh, I have a lot of friends. You know, my father was a former soldier, so I know that security, how it is for them. So I know, but this one, make fast. Good campaign. Daily Guide has on the front page, Mahama can't win, and this according to Alote Jacobs. And we have NDC has no message. Nana fires. What we need message? Malawushio. So we have security services remain on Cap 30, and it has an attached picture of the Minister for Information, Kujo Ponkro, a member of Parliament for Fuansia Yorubi. On the back page, we do have Liverpool lead open title defense. They're coming from the championship, and they're meeting the title holders in the Premiership. It's for the opening day of the EPL. Charlie, we'll be staying glued to our screens. Making a meal of it. We also do have Misha South gets another AstroTurf being constructed by, it should be the Wembley Sports Construction Company. If it's not, it's then
Oh, our very good friend, Robert Coleman. We should say good morning to him.
Please. It is Black Ghana Limited. They didn't give it to Wembley Sports. Oh, why? Okay, so we'll move on. Observer. The Observer has on the front page, we've expanded infrastructural development in all regions. Akufo-Addo answers critics as study gets 48 million euro market circle GMPC headquarters. Meanwhile, government retains police prisons, others on existing pension minister. Hey, this story, the way it's finding itself on the front pages here. It's nice. Oh. Okay, so we also do have the Informer. The Informer has on the front page, Akufo-Addo Lord Zoom Lions patriotism. Cut sword for companies waste treatment plant in Sekandi Takrade. And it's all there. I see also all the personalities there. Okay. Let me see. Dr. Joseph Sianwe Japan is also there. Jospon, good morning to you. Ghana politics, Rolling Stone relevant. Harunaya Atta. And we have control of NDC. Ahoy's modus operandi exposed. Has an inserted picture of Seth Ufori Ohene. It's been a while I've seen Seth. Good to see him on the front page. All right, so let's do the last one. The Daily Statesman says MPP launches manifesto tomorrow. The best place for you to get the best highlights of this event is JoyNews.
Of course. And yeah, I mean,
it's not on the front page, but I'm saying, please take it from me. Election headquarters. So we're live there. We'll bring you all the previews also right here, and then also take you live to Cape Coast. Gifty, you're going, aren't you?
Oh no, you know I'm on leave, you know, so I'll be observing from afar.
Okay, what's your pick this morning from all that I've read out?
I don't know. I'm really feeling like Friday today, but let me try.
Then let's discuss any Okai, because it's and then let's discuss Champions League and Europa League. Today is the final.
Hang on. I have a Ghanaian Times newspaper. Right. So I'll just give you the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Please Security services remain on Cap 30. Government assures. That's the story you were commenting on. And President cuts sought for construction of new GNPC headquarters in Takrade. So maybe, Minister also inaugurates reopening of pre-tertiary schools. That story is then Ghana condemns coup d'etat in Mali. Good point to make. So maybe my pick is right here, Roland. Security services remaining on Cap 30. Government is assuring. You know, we've had this conversation where I've talked about how we treat our security services, especially the police service, for example, here. So, I mean, it's good that unification of pension schemes is what that story is coming beneath. It's good that we're taking care of them. I mean, the devil is always in the detail, Roland, isn't it? But link that to what happened in Mali. What happened in Mali and this particular story. You see a very interesting I won't say they're related, but I see a very interesting point there because yesterday, 3 days ago, when we did the Mali, I indicated that one of the problems or one of the reasons assigned to this particular coup was something about pay or salaries of the military, of the security personnel in Mali. So I find it a very interesting, if you get my drift, Roland.
Yeah, I get it.
Interesting connection there. I'll just leave it there. Like I said, I'm feeling a bit Friday today, so that'll probably be my pick. But we're still going on with the cutting of swords, and I've not really seen a lot of the newspapers talking about the challenge also that President Mahama, if you like, is throwing out there for a presidential debate. But it'll be interesting to have a presidential debate. If the president is up for it, I think they should, by all means, go for it and let's see how it goes. It'll be exciting.
I don't know. I think I remember in 2016, the opposition leader then, who is now president, didn't debate the president, right? Who was the incumbent? Yeah. So I'm not sure that if while in opposition he decided that, look, I'm not going to debate the incumbent at all, and now he's president, he will decide it. I'm not sure it will be a wise decision politically. But while it is going to enrich the debate for the electioneering, the choice is also for the president to make. And you know, that typically the president, Akufo, is very bullish about the way he goes his things. Is all taking everything and says, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, and this is how it has to be. And I suspect that he may decide not to undertake this debate or do this debate at all. Even
well,
though,
based on the responses we've had so far, it doesn't sound to me like it's ruled out. It's completely ruled out.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really feeling Friday today. Yes. I don't think it's completely ruled out. Yesterday, when I heard Sami Uku responding to this, he said that, look, we have enough evidence to show that we're better off than you. But he said, for now, we're not, we don't think it's necessary. But as we go along, if we feel that it is necessary at a point, he says we may consider. That's what I heard him say yesterday on radio. So I don't think it's completely ruled out, but we'll see how it goes. But I think there was this back and forth about the level of trust that the parties had at the time for the, I think it was the IEA that organized the debate. I think there was a part of it was the NDC or the I think it must be the NPP. Like, it looks like one of them did not really trust the referee, so to speak, who was going to be the referee in this context. But I sure think it will be exciting if they want to do it. But yeah, it looks like the political season is really heating up. More sword cutting, more jabs being thrown at one another. So we'll be here to follow it up and do more of the analysis as we go along. But like I said, thank God it's Friday. That's how I'm feeling today.
Yeah. Look, I have to say that the Tier 3 pension scheme, while it is envisioned to be a good one, I would say, based on my experience, it has to be monitored adequately to see whether the trustees, because the part where the trustees are supposed to manage the contributions of the workers from their employees and they themselves, beyond what SNIT also tends to be getting. At the end of the day, it has a big repercussion on how we as workers tend to live after working all these years, whether you work for yourself or it's typically you getting employed by somebody else. Now, the reason why I know that the security agencies, their personnel will be very much happy about government's decision is that if you look at the type of pensions that are got in terms of the quantums, it's far, far better than what SNIT ever paid anybody at all based on their contributions over time after working 30, 40 years. And it is the reason why the police service, the immigration, the rest of the security agencies wanted to be added to the CAP 30 by the military or with the military. When we did the migration to the current scheme, the SNITs and having the current tier, the military were very vociferous, even though it was not public, that they didn't want to be added to the SNITs and the current scheme that we have. And it's for good reason. It's because the current scheme and what was being practiced before, based on the law, had not been managed adequately. And the security agencies, particularly the military, were seeing what was going on, were not happy. And it is time that we also need to have a holistic approach to this conversation about the pensions. If the military and the rest of the security agencies are going to be under CAP 30, because they think it is a good one, then the structure of how we also implement the current 3-tier scheme should be of concern to government and various employers as well. And even as the employee, we should typically look at how this is implemented. Look, because we're all young, we're working, we seem not to have the hindsight as to what the implications could be if this is not being managed well. And really, if you have the experiences of those who are having their contributions managed by trustees, you get to know that, it's not the best. It's not the best. And we need to have that conversation. I know that you are the head of the security desk right here, and so you may have great information from your friends in the military who would say, this is what we wanted, and it's always been maintained this way, and it should stay the way it is.
Yeah, I have not, like I said, I've not looked too much into that particular story, but it did catch my attention, which is why I made it my pick. Anything about security services, I get particularly interested in. Well, I can certainly look into that and perhaps we can have a conversation on it later. I'm not particularly equipped right now to discuss it in detail, but anything to secure the future of everybody, you should be interested. If your employers will not necessarily be so interested until the employees themselves push for it. You have to put in that push to get what you think you deserve. Otherwise, your pension becomes terrible. But you're saying that your father was an old soldier. I'm interested to find out from your perspective. I mean, so he's on pension now, I believe.
No, he's been on pension for how many years now? 30
exactly.
years. Yeah.
And then I wonder how much he was entitled to at the end of every month as a pensioner, someone who was,
Well, I'm not sure I know how much he earns now, yeah. But I know that typically there were raises. I think the Akufo administration gave them a raise. Atamil's administration gave them a raise. And I think the last time I had a conversation with some of his friends himself, he said the Nana-Addo administration was treating them well, and the conversation gets around, especially for the personnel who are in the army and maybe retiring 2 years or 3 years from their current state. They tend to be very much interested in what they're going to earn after they leave the service. And so it becomes a discussion point for them. Now, if government would treat the military and other security personnel well, because, they are untouchables in a way because of our political history, they should also be interested in how pensions are managed for ordinary workers. I mean, that's just my view. Because it's not everybody who is going to manage their pensions very well as individuals.
Yeah. They should not just be interested. It's their responsibility, and they owe the people that responsibility. And they have to make sure that after the people have retired, they have a better life. And there have been a lot of issues about how our pensions have been managed and how people think. That I've heard people, in conversations where people have said that governments, I mean, not this government, but governments that we've had over the years have usually tend to our pension funds and used it, sometimes touched it for other projects. Like I said, once again, I'm not too equipped to discuss that in detail right now. I'm not equipped with the right information to discuss it. But these are conversations that you hear going around. Like you said, word goes round. These are the conversations that go around. I won't say that government should be interested. Government should be much more than interested because it is their responsibility to protect the future of the people who work for the state.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gifty. Gifty and Rapia are always on hand to give us the best. And Gifty, we wish you well for the day. Please, since you're on leave, be watching how we cover the manifesto launch of the MPP. You will enjoy it, Gifty. Have some sandwich.
I also enjoy is Okai, Minister Okai, when he comes to start the session today.
All right. Today is your birthday. Antoinette Sanake Yeredon, you're a teacher at SDA School, Bolgan. This one is coming from your husband, Francis. You're the branch manager of Wale Wale ADB. And it's also from your children, Ferdinand, Festus, and Francisca. It is your birthday, Antoinette. Do enjoy this. Make sure you stick with us throughout the period. We have Okai. You will enjoy him. In the meantime, please, we have the latest sports update with Benedict also.
Joy UCL is on this Sunday. It's the final of this year's UEFA Champions League. And tonight, of course, is the final of the UEFA Europa League. And Inter Milan up against Sevilla. There's a preview to both games. But of course, the other issues you also have to look at here on the local scene. And the English Premier League is coming back September 12. This is the start of the new English Premier League season, and Liverpool, defending champions, their first fixture will be against the winners of last season's English Championship, that's Leeds United. We'll try and get you the first week fixtures. But here on the local scene and elsewhere, FIFA is helping footballers switch eligibility and represent a second national team with a planned rule change that they are set to announce. And of course, we have more in this report.
The proposal gives hope to players who are eligible for multiple countries but fell out of favour at their first national team, where they are bound after just a single minute of playing time in a competitive game. The new wording would let players switch eligibility if they played a maximum of 3 times for the first national team, including tournament qualifying games, before they turned 21 and at least 3 years earlier. The new rule will take effect from next month if 211 national federations approve it at the September 18 Congress that FIFA is hosting online from Zurich. A FIFA working group has tried for more than 2 years to shape the new proposal. The proposal would bar nationality switches for anyone who played at a final tournament of the FIFA World Cup or a final tournament of a confederation competition.
Well, that was a Saribedi Akosh report. Now, the date for the Ghana FA's Congress has generated a lot of talk. Yesterday, we had former Division 1 League Board Chairman, that's Intofi Anko, expressing his disappointment in the FA for rescheduling the date from August 27 to September 1. The same day, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, that's CAS, they are expected to give their verdict on the case between Wilfred Osei Kuku, affectionately known as Palmer, and the Ghana Football Association. Well, Mr. Albert Komi, a former executive committee member of the FA, who is now with 11 Wonders, joins me on the line. Mr. Komi, thanks so much for your time this morning. Yesterday, you heard Mr. Intofi Anko talked about the fact that he wasn't happy with the FA for fixing the Congress date on September 1, same date as that of the CAS ruling. What do you say to this? Sir?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished listeners. In fact, I don't see the drift with which Mr. to want to let people understand. Because one, does it mean that because of the CAS issue, the DFA should not run?
Well, he was talking about the fact that, you know, the attention will not be on the Congress because you're inviting media men. You also have football.
This is where it's very difficult for me to understand him because when we go to Congress, all the proposals that have been sent were sent by members. And I think that what we need to do is to concentrate on the works and then we have it done. Do you remember the Osei Dreams issue?
Exactly, I do.
GF was working. We played the whole season before the decision came. And then later we implemented. So what is the difference when it comes to this? We need to go to Congress and then make sure that we put things in order. Now that we are even trying to convince government to allow us play our game, we need to do certain things. One of them is to go to Congress. So I don't see on the date, what is the guarantee that even CAS is going to deliver the decision, having noticed what has happened? The postponement kept coming. So we need to concentrate and do the needful. So for me, I don't think that he has a case. Let's go to Congress and let's do the necessary thing that we have to do. That is what I think. I don't think that it is good for us to wait. Does it mean that even when we change the date, would we know the next day that CAF will bring? So when it coincides, then we have to postpone it. I don't think that's the way to run our association.
Okay, but Mr. Komi, should CAS on the day release their verdict? And let's say, you know, football, of course, as it is run in this country, almost every time there's an issue regarding football, there's always a lot of talk, media attention and all that. So we go to Congress and there are issues that we want to propagate in the media. Then this CAS ruling comes in. You don't think it will overshadow whatever that you want to put out there for the public to know?
My brother, I don't think so. If indeed we know that the Congress is the highest decision body of our organization, when we are there to do business, we do serious business. The issue, when it comes, I think that it is football that will be the winner. It depends on where you are standing and how you are looking at it. Whatever direction that CAS decision gives us, we'll make sure that we channel that, and then there will be nothing. And that is why I gave the example that we had earlier on.
Yeah.
And it involves Mr. Osei Palmer and Dreams at the time.
Yeah.
So for me, let's concentrate and keep on doing, because unless they can tell me that they are very sure that come September 1st, the decision is coming.
Okay.
The decision we cannot control as to when it will come. And when it comes, we are football people. We know how to manage tensions. We know how to manage this thing. When we are there for business, we concentrate and do the business.
Okay.
After all, the decision will be to the lawyers of the various parties.
Okay.
So, in their opinion, do you think that in the course of the Congress, they are going to put that one there? I don't think so. That is business for the day, and we need to go and do the needful. And I think that will happen. So our appeal to all clubs to get ready for us to go to Congress, so that it will pave way for us to do our football business rather than waiting for CAF decisions, which we don't even have control whether it will come today or tomorrow.
Okay, Mr. Komi, thanks so much for your time this morning. We definitely will see you on September 1 at Congress. So that was Mr. Albert Komi, a former executive committee member of the Football Association, now with 11 Wonders as their chief executive officer.
We told you, we are your election headquarters, and we're making sure that as the governing New Patriotic Party launches its manifesto for the elections, general elections 2020, we are right there. But before then, we will have to preview it, bring you great discussions around it before the main event, and even after, we'll be right here. But as we do that, let's go to the MPP stable, speak to the Director of Communications of the party, Yaw Buaben, who is online to speak to us. Good morning to you, Mr. Buaben. And I know that this is a great time for the party. This one also just comes some few days after the Vice President had that great town hall meeting. Coincidentally, also, looks like it's opportune, isn't it?
I think what the Vice President did feeds into what we are going to outdoor tomorrow, and that is our manifesto for the 2020 election, but more importantly, looking at what we seek to do going forward into 2024. So over the 2020 to 2024 period, what do we do to consolidate what we have done between 2017 and 2020? That will be the focus of what we do. I like you saying that this is a great time for the party. Indeed, the party, which is the mother of the government, and clearly, whilst we are in charge, the government being the main instrument, has demonstrated that it is willing to lead, deliver on the difficult issues, and listen at the same time. Because public policy is a multi-headed animal. And that animal, you seek to take advantage of as many heads as possible at any given time. But people also fall through the cracks. We've governed in the expectation that the difficult decision, which we need to move the majority of the people, will also create cracks that a few fall into. And therefore, you do vulnerability nets to try and catch as many people as possible. But it's an agenda in progress, and we want the opportunity. We are seeking the opportunity. We are asking for the opportunity in all humility to continue with what we've started.
Now, what really is a feeling within the party about the relationship, if not the link with government and then the party? Knowing that many of your officers, key people in leadership, transition from the administrative, if not also the structure of the party setup.
It's like Chinese sweet and sour sauce. This government probably is the one that has incorporated the most people with party backgrounds in appointments into leadership. If you have CEOs who have an understanding of the party's philosophy, they'll do better. So right from the word go, His Excellency Akufo-Addo sought to put people who understood the NPP's philosophy, who understood what the party believes and thinks, in charge. And in doing so, you would find that many people in positions of trust, many people in positions of responsibility now are people with at least a sense of background of the NPP and where we are coming from. And yet, at the end of the day, when you do that, you also have the difficulty then about who is preeminent. So, of course, Mr. A, who I used to be with, has been favored to lead. What about me? And if me is not magnanimous and me will not wait for his or her turn, then you have a little difficulty there. But on the whole, the party is in sync with the government. On the whole, the grassroots of the party believe that what we are doing for the people of the Republic is more important than their personal gain. And therefore, we are on course.
Now, typically for a governing party, there's always a thin line, right? In trying to make sure the structures of the party work, it is not neglected while in government. How have you been able to manage that?
We have continued to improve, pursue and improve what we came to meet, which is that at a certain informal level, the party leadership is very close to the top leadership of the government. In the New Patriotic Party, for example, our constitution demands that the sitting president and past president be part of our governing structure. So the sitting president is a member of our steering committee. And when the president comes to steering committee, I can assure you that he comes as a guest of the chairman and the general secretary. He doesn't come to be in charge of the meeting. So that is how you manage the structure. So at the national level, you have the government, which is clearly headed by His Excellency President Akufo-Addo. Government comes out of the NPP's victory at the election 2016. And then, right now, the party itself, when it meets, has His Excellency Akufo-Addo sitting in steering committee as an invited member of the steering committee, not as the head of the steering committee, but as a member of the steering committee, able to offer advice, able to contribute to the decisions, able to vote on the decisions, but they are decisions of the party. It's the chairman of the party who heads the steering committee. So it's a symbiotic process. We just have to continue improving it so that party impacts government policy, and government policy reflects the needs of the people which the party represents.
Does it mean that at least we have an officer or two represented at the governance level, even though, of course, it's not stated in the constitution? Can you, for example, have a party where maybe a general secretary or a chair in cabinet just to carry information or to ensure information flow, so to speak?
I am glad you used the word informal, because the notion of cabinet is that it's a constitutional instrument and it has defined membership and otherwise. When cabinet meets, it also has the power and authority to co-opt people to come in, non-voting members who can contribute to the debate and reflect the issues on the ground. And so, yes, pursuant to that, the general secretary and chairman of the party are expected to attend cabinet meetings.
Well, my question is devoid of any mischief at all. I just wanted to know, so that, because typically what happens is that when parties are in power, the grassroots and the middle level supporters, so to speak, seem to think that it's only the top people who are enjoying, whilst sometimes for the grapevine, you get to find that really even the top leadership necessarily may not be that close to the country administration. So that's why I asked the question. So
forgive me if my answer made you feel like you are being mischievous.
Okay.
Normally you are mischievous, but not this morning.
Well,
but yes, your observation is very, very critical, because it's a fact that a lot of people assume that once you are in government, certain privileges, benefits should come to you automatically, and that those benefits and privileges depend on your standing in government. It is not quite the case. The general secretary doesn't go to cabinet for his personal opportunity. He goes to cabinet to protect the party's position. And the party includes all the party, elected party officers, co-opted members, adherents, sympathizers, grassroots persons. Everybody is a part of the party. At the end of the day, what distinguishes us? Cabinet must have policies that benefit the entire nation. It's not party-based. Cabinet must have policies that impact and benefit the entire nation. And then, beyond that, within that raft of policies, the party which is in power must find its level. And individuals within the party must determine whether or not they are getting over and above the national average of benefits, and if so, whether they are entitled to a certain above-the-line benefit. And if we get to the point where we all appreciate that the government which is delivering is a government which is meant to deliver for all, then your pride is in being able to work hard to put your party in power, not necessarily the above-the-line average benefit that you as an individual will get. But the pride that you have put a government in power, a government that is delivering, a government that is functional enough to solve the problems of your neighbor, who may not necessarily be a frontline MPP person, but who deserves those things as a person in Ghana who votes for their personal welfare as well.
Imani first conducted the manifesto, the content of it, and looked at the output of the deliverables and pegged some percentage. Then we also had the president, the vice president also coming in, and lastly we had this. They also did same during the NDC administration as well. So my question is, how do you as party administrators, members at all levels, make sure that you are not lost in the fanfare that usually would accompany the government administrators, as in the party people when they do the travels, giving them the accolades, so that you tend to guide and mark them by what you as party promise those who voted for you or the general voter population.
I wish. Will you be in Cape Coast?
No, I'm not. I will not be.
You have a crew in Cape Coast?
Yes, we do have a great team led by Evans Mensah, MFR.
Okay.
We have Daniel
I'll be talking to Evans, and I hope Evans is listening to you, because you see, we are developing a complex web of relationships as we continue to consolidate democracy in this country. Who are the assessors of progress? Because it would appear that every individual assessor, be it an organization or a person of progress, have their own indices. So who are the ultimate beneficiaries of the assessment and the indices that are developed by different people? It is a matter that is up in the air. So the question of what a political promise is and its validity is also up in the air, because what is a political promise? A political promise, I believe, is a policy deliverable. You promise the people, I am going to do A, B, C, D when you are not in charge. When you are in charge, you have to translate that into a policy deliverable, which depends severally on resource availability, human capacity, even acceptability once you want to implement it. Because anytime you implement public policy, a section of the population diminishes and a section rises. So you have to even now begin to determine who benefits the most and who is diminished the most. So the question of promises and whether we have achieved them or not is always a very, very serious qualitative analysis. So we welcome analysis from Imani, other think tanks, CDP, IDEC. We also welcome critique from the opposition. But obviously you will realize that critique from the NDC will be self-serving. They actually said we had achieved only 14% of our manifesto promises, having found over 680 promises that we don't realize we made. But they are entitled to their critique. We, as a governing party, have a greater burden. We cannot just trumpet our promises. We have to justify them because we are in charge and the people are seeking it from us. So for us, it is more difficult because we have to segment and segregate the population. Who is getting what from our policies? And are they getting enough? Are they the right target group? Should we be doing more in certain areas? These are all matters that go up regularly, governance situation, before cabinet. But the bottom line is leadership. What you emphasize, what you de-emphasize, what you invest in, what you don't invest in with first resource, it demands leadership. Strong, decisive, bold, listening leadership. Sometimes a leadership may implement something and be compelled, listening to voices to withdraw it, like the luxury tax. Which we initiated and withdrew. Like the towing fee, which we came to meet as a law, which ought to be implemented, but in an attempt to implement, realization that may not serve the larger community, which we then held on to. So It is a variable process, but the bottom line is that the majority of the voters must believe, trust that they are the right group of people. And in this case, the New Patriotic Party leadership under the President, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
So typically on Saturday, what will we be seeing?
On Saturday morning, there will be a National Council meeting to kick off the exercise. And then after that, we will have the manifesto launch. And the manifesto launch will cover about 3 segments. The first segment being speaking to the sectors, and then the second segment being an overall view, and then the third segment being the launch itself. And you have different personalities involved with the 3 segments. We hope the majority of Ghanaians, local and international, can join us on various electronic media platforms. But this will be restricted to a live audience encompasses all who are listening on other media. But in terms of the human being, because of the protocols, the attendance will be very limited.
Yeah. Okay. We wish you all the best. We're here with you throughout the period, so we know what's going to happen. But thank you. We will get more updates subsequently on other programming on the channel. Well, so that's Yaw Buaben, someone member of Parliament for Adentan. Richard Kojo-Nyakom is our lead correspondent in the central regional capital of Cape Coast, bringing to us all the update. The president already is in the central region. Yesterday was in the Edna traditional area, had promised the paramount chief of the area that government was going to support him and his rulership or palace to make sure that they have a befitting palace erected for the traditional area. And that's a good one. But next door is Cape Coast, and it's where tomorrow he is expected to be in town and also grace that event, the NPP manifesto launch for 2020. And it's where also, as your election headquarters, we have to tell you, we'll bring you all the live previews. Indeed, we've started. And Evans Mensah, Daniel Datsi, Emma Fapo, as well as Winston Amwa, all on the bill for tomorrow to bring you all those live updates from the central regional capital. But this is what you need to do, just in case you want to get all the relevant news coming in and streaming in. You know where to go. Facebook JoyNews on TV is there. We have a Twitter handle at JoyNews on TV. We also do have our YouTube channel, JoyNews TV, and myjoyonline.com, the most progressive, great content provider when it comes to news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, and the rest, including business, right here in Ghana for you. But we have to go to Manuel Kranting, who's doing some great work so far, trying to get us on the roving belt for the AM show this morning. And Manuel will be ready until somewhere around the University of Ghana and get us the latest on his latest subject. But Manuel Kranting, are you ready for us?
Official outdooring of the manifesto of the 2 main political parties. I'm talking about the NPP and then the NDC. There's a conversation about what exactly, people are expecting to see or hear in the manifesto. So I'm here on the University of Ghana's campus, and I'm going to talk to a lecturer who's also, a former UTAC president of the Legon chapter, and then some students also, student leaders, and pick their thoughts on what they're expecting to see in the manifesto, especially ahead of the MPP's official outdooring tomorrow. So to my left is Dr. Harry Agbanu. He's a lecturer here at the University of Ghana. Doc, thank you so much for coming this morning.
Thank you very much.
Great. So to my right also I have Vanessa Okobo. She's a student of the University of Ghana. And then also to my far right, Pius Theophilus Bedu. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, also for agreeing to speak to us. Maybe I should start off with Dr. Agbanu. So, generally, it's been that time again. And people are courting support, promising here and there. But as a lecturing fraternity, and as that particular constituency in the University of Ghana, what is that particular thing you're looking forward to seeing, in their manifestos?
Thank you very much. With the COVID experience, one would expect a smart political party to be willing to invest massively in online, study platforms for both lecturers and students. And so I will be expecting to see an elaborate plan on the part of government to provide infrastructure for online studies. Then secondly, I'm also expecting that there will be that political decision to identify one or two institutions for research, dedicated solely to research and finding homemade solutions to the problems that face our country. And as of now, all universities or tertiary institutions are doing almost everything. And I think that is not good for our development if we want development to be faster than it is. So I'm expecting some statement from our political leaders as to how they want to forge ahead with research by identifying one or two institutions dedicated to research intensity. Yep.
Great. So, Dr. Harry Agbanu's course is essentially on, building of research and especially also investing in online infrastructure, especially giving what COVID-19 has taught us by respect of our educational institutions. Well, Vanessa, I'll come to you now. And you're a student. You're looking to graduate. There have been talks about creation of jobs for graduates and so on and so forth. Let me just quickly pick your preliminary, on your expectations, particularly in the manifestos.
Okay, good morning to you listeners and watchers. I'd like to say that the COVID-19 has actually exposed so many things. It has exposed our security, infrastructure, health, education, so many things that I think that the government should look forth to improve. And as a student myself, I'm hoping to not find it difficult finding a job after university or hoping to create something for myself. Looking at the agricultural sector, it exposed how much we are deficient in that sector. I'm hoping to see more improvement in the agricultural sector. I'm also hoping to see more improvement in aviation, because for someone who traveled and came back and you're in a different country and you're hoping to come back home, and the only problem is that your country doesn't have a plane. You understand? This actually has shown how much it is important to have to own our own aviation, for us to own our own planes to get our students to come back to the country whenever there is any problem like this. So that's what I'm actually looking forward to.
So you're looking forward to seeing, a locally run airline.
A locally run airline. I'm looking more forward to seeing our agriculture being improved. It's sad that we have to actually import a lot of things and we export so little. We have so much cocoa, but we only get 10% of the value, which is terrible. So I'm hoping that the government would actually skew more money or skew more attention towards these sectors. Other ones are important, but I feel this ones must be tackled first and then we move on.
So for you, whoever comes to you with plans of building an airline and improving the agricultural sector might possibly get a vote.
Well, it's a possibility, because as I said, I've been outside. I came back not too long ago, and it was sad. You find British Airlines picking their citizens back home, and then you are home and you're waiting to hear from your government. Even though they came through, and thumbs up to the government for coming through at that point, they did so well. They got us back home and they got us into a quarantine center, and we didn't have to pay a penny. That is the kind of government I am hoping to vote for. That's the kind of government I'm hoping to work with. That's the kind of government I'm hoping to put my life in hoping to give my life to actually help improve other sectors as well. So I feel that we should go towards that sector too.
Well, you think that we should go towards that sector too. I'll go to Pius. Now, the NPP is outdooring its manifesto tomorrow, and in the past couple of days there's been an argument about infrastructure and so on and so forth. Let me understand what you're expecting in the area of infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Manuel. Thank you for the opportunity. Warm good morning to all viewers, and a special good morning to the MP for Ayaso West Ogoma, Lydia. She's doing so well. The infrastructure debate rages on. There's been talks, there's been figures mentioned and all that. But what I'm looking to, witness in the manifesto is something I call continuity in development. So, for instance, we are seeing a massive investment in infrastructure when it comes to roads, when it comes to hospitals and all that. So I'm looking at a manifesto that would continue what has started. So, for instance, we can talk about the Pokwasi interchange, we can talk about, the Tema interchange, we can talk about the Kumasi interchange, and, the other interchanges that are being built up by the government. So I'm looking at a manifesto that will hit home on that, and that would improve that. And also, the health sector, very, very important. The COVID, actually exposed a lot of things, made us understand that our health infrastructure is very low, and which is affecting the health delivery. So what I'm looking at is for the government, and I mean, the president has promised that he's going to build a lot of district hospitals and a regional hospital. So I'm looking at a manifesto that will capture that, and that will bring out a plan to achieve something like that. And I'm also looking at a manifesto that would, improve education. Free SHS has done tremendously well. About 1.8 million, students have been enrolled, and the program is doing so well. So I'm looking at a manifesto that would bring continuity into that aspect too as well. I'm also looking at a manifesto that would, continue to build, capture the one district, one factory program. Today, I learned the president is commissioning the Ekumfi, factory and all that. So I'm looking at a manifesto that would, bring home all these things. And last but not the least, I'm also looking at a manifesto that will create jobs for the youth myself. I really love the NAPCO program, the president enrolled when he came, because he saw that, the youth, after finishing university, there's nothing to speak about. So myself, running for National Union of Ghana Students Secretary for International Relations, I'm really particular about the jobs, that the president seeks to create for the youth. And NAPCO has done so well. About 300,000 students, people, graduates have been employed through that program. So I'm looking at, the manifesto being brought in to capture these things.
Great. You're talking a bit. I'll come back to, before you wrap up, pick your top three. If you are asked to give us maybe top three on your list of things that you're looking out to see on the manifesto, maybe while you think about that, I'll come back to Dr. Harry Agbanu and talk a bit more about research, because you intimated, quite emphatically something about that. Now, there's been an argument that, let's scrap book and research allowance and create a national research fund. You apply, tap into it, and you can do what you call wholesome research than the regular cyclical, maybe 500 cedis or so, that they give to you as book and research allowance. We can really do just a handful of research. Going into the 2020 elections, and as the political parties begin to adore their manifestos, where would you stand and expect, on that?
Well, thank you very much once again. It's unfortunate our students here have turned this program into praise singing for a particular political party. I think we should be broadened in our approach to things. I thought that being on University of Ghana campus, your aim is to find out what our expectations are as far as education is concerned, because that is where we are. But maybe I didn't understand the concept that is behind this particular program. But for me, being here, I thought our focus should be on education, because that is where we are. Now back to your question. If you are talking about research fund, there's nobody here in Ghana, especially in academia, who does not support the idea of a research fund. The two major political parties have agreed, but the approach is where they differ. The MPP decided that the research fund will be instituted separate from the book and research allowances that the lecturers get. I think that is fantastic. The NDC at the point decided that they were going to establish the research fund and scrap the book and research allowances. That was where we disagreed with them. But thankfully, we were paid till they left office. So I think that what I expect to see is a rigorous effort on the part of whoever comes to establish a national research fund that will boost research. But we as lecturers will resist any attempt by any of them to scrap the book and research allowances that we enjoy so far. But we'll give our full support to any government that is willing to establish a national research fund, which is what we need as a country to boost, research.
So you are all for establishing the research fund, yes, and still keeping the book and research allowance?
Exactly.
But where's the utility there? Because the argument is that there are a lot of lecturers and they are all having to share from the little kitty. But if we consolidate the funds, then those who really do need the funds for the research that they want to do can tap into that. Given the very scarce resources that we have, you don't buy that argument.
This argument has been overflowed, and we've made it clear that the book and research allowances that we have, we now receive, is for our desktop research, to update our courses, to update our notes for our students. So if you are talking of research that was 500 cities, and today it's 1,500, you don't expect any serious researcher to go into a research project with 1,500 cities. So that one, there's no argument about it as to whether it should be scrapped or not. It should not be scrapped because we need it to be able to do the little desktop research that we do for updating our.
Before I move away from you, and I'll come back to take that top 3 list that you also have. But this year, in fact, the year that preceded it, there was very heated debate on the Public Universities Bill in its shape and form. Well, UTAG community has called it flawed and not fit for purpose and so on and so forth. Going into the 2020 elections, I'm sure a lot of the political parties have taken notice of your arguments that you raised. What will be that winning card for you in their manifesto as regarding the Public Universities Bill?
Any government that will come out to shelve this idea of a Public Universities Bill will be a party that I think lecturers will want to support. We don't need a Public Universities Bill. Every university has its own charter. Every university has its own bill. If government feels that there is anything that is wrong with a particular institution's charter or any particular institution's whatever, let's tackle that. But to try to bring all universities under one bill, I think it will not augur well for university. And that has been our position all through. We will not support any government that will want to continue on that tangent. Yes.
Any government that says that you consolidate their charters will be voted out?
Yes, will be voted out.
Interesting. Let me come back. We are wrapping it up this morning, but I want to take, the top 3 list of the students here. They've been talking about a number of things that the government has done, and indeed a number of things that they're expecting to see in the manifestos. But let me start off with Pius. Pius, your top 3. If I ask that you're going to vote, looking at their manifestos, choose 3 things that you don't want to miss and you vote for them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Manuel. Manuel, just a quick one. Let me just chip this in. I think the university community is not only based on education, but it also serves as a lot of opportunities for us. I mean, talk of jobs, talk of research and all that. So I think if we narrow the conversation on education, we wouldn't really be, broadening the discussion. My top 3, a quick one. I'm looking at infrastructure. Number 1, infrastructure. I'm talking about roads. I'm talking about, I'm talking about roads, and I'm also talking about health services, hospitals and all that. And my second one is industrialization. I'm looking at, government building a lot of factories, just like it has done, one district, one factory, the program. And my third one, I'm looking at education, broadening the net, for free SHS, enrolling a lot of people. And I'm hoping that government at a point would, spread the net to free university education.
Okay, so at a point, let's spread the net to free university education. Vanessa, your top 3.
I think I'll begin with aviation, most important. I feel it has been looked down upon for a very long time. I feel that if the government takes measures to start broadening our scope in aviation, owning our own airline, and among other things, it won't just create jobs for opportunities for people, but it would also make sure that at least students who are outside will know that, oh, my country has an airline, and if anything should happen now, they could come pick me up immediately. I'm also thinking about agriculture, because since I'm a student, even though I'm a political science student, I'm also thinking about agriculture, because I feel Ghanaians import too much. We import too much, and we spend so much money in bringing things into the country and dashing money out all the time when we have so much land. We have hardworking farmers, and among others, which is very, very important. I think we should skew more energy towards the agricultural sector. And my last one, I'm hoping to merge the two, health and education. I feel that if our government invest more in health, invest more in education, now we should be able to have the opportunity to study even at home. That's just in case maybe you're under the weather for a day and you can't go for a class. You could just enter your whatever pin or whatever on the internet, and then you could join a class. It will improve our educational sector, and it will help us in the long run. So I feel that we should just look at all these things and then work from there. Thank you.
Great. Finally, we're wrapping it all up. Doc, I want to take your top 3 and then we wrap it up.
Education, the foremost, health, second, agriculture, third.
So Dr. Harry Agbanu says education first, health second, and agriculture third. These are his top 3, and we've been hearing also from some of the students here at the University of Ghana. They are thinking about what to expect in the manifestos as the political parties begin working hard to officially outdoor their manifestos. But we're going to take a break at this point. When we return, we have Okai live on the AM show. Stay with us.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the AM show. Yeah, I know some of you are surprised to see me here. I'm doing this for my sister Mama V. But today we're going to be thanking the Lord, worshiping Him, getting into the groove of easing into the weekend. A lot of churches have opened, so hey, I know that you're preparing to go back to church. But I've got a very great man here. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, and he's a preacher as well. He's been doing this for almost 2 decades. Okai, great to see you here.
Great to see you.
Wow, wow. It's amazing to have you here. And like I mentioned, I think what makes you stand out a lot is singer-songwriter. I know that there are some of your colleagues who do this, but many people don't know actually that many musicians do not write their own music.
Yeah.
How do you do it? How do you get music?
It's a gift, first and foremost, and I ended up following a lot of, songwriters, learning from them. My father used to play a lot of LPs, so when I started
writing... What are LPs, please? just for those of us who are not familiar.
Vinyl, long play, those before cassettes became cassettes, there was this turntable, where you play the long play, short play thing, So my father had a stream of music, and I was inspired, so to speak. So I realized I could harmonize first and foremost, and then eventually I realized I could rearrange songs. Then I started writing, and we are here.
I know it's not only talent that does the trick. A lot of hard work goes into it. And I'll tell you something, some of you don't know. I used to sing in church, and when I was learning how to sing, I was told to learn from him. There's a skill, is it called falsetto? And that's when you hear him do that shrill thing. And he's one of the I mean, maybe the only male musician who I think does it very, very well, and everybody points you to him when you're learning how to do that. So tell me, between hard work and talent, which one would you say has the higher percentage in your
in mine?
In your career and your experience?
I'll put it more of grace and consistency.
Pastor that. Okay, he's pushed hard work and talent aside. Grace and consistency. Tell us more about that and how it plays in your career.
Grace is because, I mean, there's something that was freely given, you know, by God. And consistency because when I realized I had it, there was no turning back. And so I've been singing all my life practically, from my parents through infant swim school, KNUST, Akrofi Christola. I mean, everywhere I've been, including the bank. I mean, I've been singing. And the more you sing, the more you get better at it.
Okay. For those of you who are hoping to be musicians, some free consultation here. Keep singing. Don't be like me. Don't stop.
Yeah. I mean,
keep singing.
Just sing 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be going into singing very soon because there's a lot of music composed by Okai that I know touches a lot of people's heart. My personal favorite is Yesuhi.
That's amazing because that's my music director's favorite as well. Wow. You love the song to bits.
I do love it. I love it so much. I played it at my wedding. It was the song I requested. So yeah, that's how much I love it. Anyway, so we'll be delving into music very soon. Just relax. Send someone a message. Hey guys, it's a Friday. Let's just relax and give God what is due him. Worship with Okai. But quickly, you're now a pastor. You're fully functioning pastor. Pastors at church.
Yeah.
Is it? How do I put this without sounding?
Feel free.
Okay. Do you necessarily have to be a pastor if you sing?
No. You have to be called. Being a pastor means you're a shepherd, actually. And I find that just like God looked at David, and he was doing quite a good job at the backside of the wilderness for the sheep, protected the sheep from the lion and the bear. He knew that if this guy takes care of my sheep, which is Israel, he'll take good care of them. If you are faithful at whatever the Lord gives you, it could be a 5-member choir, 20-member choir. If you're a true shepherd, the Lord might just promote you to take care of the full flock, essentially.
So how is pastoring?
It takes a lot of grace. You can't do it by might. You need to be faithful. You need to suffer long. You need to care for the flock. You need to be in tune with God all the time.
And combining it with this, so I'm pretty sure now you've had to look at some invitations and scheduling.
You can imagine. You can imagine. So it's a balancing act. My life has been about getting a balance. You know, when I was in school and singing music, when I was in the bank and singing music, it's always a balance. So you just have to look at what is key and focus on that. A lot of focus, because you can't do everything. You know, and it means that you are pretty right. When it's about a gig or a program, you weigh it as against, you know, some soul that needs attention, you know, and then you decide on what to do.
Okay. There's this thing that bothers me a lot.
Okay.
This whole argument about Christian weddings and the kind of secular music played. Then people say, it's my wedding. There's a part where the bride and the groom need to dance. You know, there's a time where we need to celebrate love as it's been created by God. So I cannot use a song like we bow down and worship Yahweh. I mean, it will be odd. I mean, there's a place for that. He flaunts his wife a lot. I follow him on social media. She's a very beautiful lady. So I'm thinking to myself, why aren't Christian artists doing love music?
I wrote one for my wife.
You did?
I did.
Did you publish it?
I mean, everybody who attended my wedding had that souvenir.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, but you should do more. Let me finish my question then. Because then you have a Christian in a certain dilemma during their wedding. You want to celebrate love. And the reason I'm asking is that Christians have a certain perception about love that is not really in total agreement with how sometimes the secular world carries it. So why won't Christian artists compose love music that Christians can agree to. It's in conformity with the word of God. And then, you know, we can also flaunt our partners. I wish you had a song I could walk down the aisle to, you know, about love.
No. So there are, only that they are not pretty popular. But you'd find that someone like B.B. Winans has, I mean, a lot of them. T.D. Jakes has a love album. You know, Koda has a love album.
You're joking?
He did, yes, for his wife.
For his wife?
Yes.
What about us?
But that's the premise.
Okay.
That you came from. This is me and my wife. So if it works, and even those you call secular, you find that most of these songs are written for somebody. There's a name.
Okay.
And that kind of a thing. So it's quite personal. But once the words are inspired, you know, it blesses a lot more people. I think that we shouldn't be too much interested in what people say. We should be interested in what God says. Because if you want to follow what people say, you work yourself into a ditch. You understand? But you should be very careful about what God says, because at the end of it all, he has a marking scheme, essentially.
I like that. So enough of talking about human love, which we call filio, and let's love God now, yeah? So take us away. We want to love the Lord. Please, do your thing.
Thank you. My God is good, His love endures. Let all creation join to sing. Yes, to Him, yes, to Him.